What are we talking about?
I'm with Josh Hallett, the original founder of BlogX. I think the first event was in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Was Orlando. So how did you enjoy the conference here?
Pretty good. It's what we typically find with events like this is it's a gathering point for different people that maybe have never met before. There's a mixture of communications people, there's a mixture of local bloggers, and they sometimes work in their own circles, but you have this point where you can bring them all together. And what's interesting to see is what things develop out of things like this. So what happens is, a smaller group says, hey, we have this, and maybe we should start up a meetup on these nights. And like in Orlando, we have the Florida Creative Group now, we have the Marketing Group, we have all these different groups, all these different things. And what was interesting was this last year, Blog Orlando brought all those people back together again. So Philadelphia seemed the same thing. A lot of people who never really met each other, and then formed, not really relationships in a sense, but it was more of, hey, let's start doing more things. I didn't know there was this much of a movement in these areas within Philadelphia. We've got a lot of business going here. How can we push this forward even more? So I think the first year was great. Let's see what Jeff has in store for next year. But I think ultimately, when you get a lot of people together to share a certain passion, I think good things are always going to come out of that.
Do you think it's only for local people, or do you think you'll see more people from outside also coming in?
Yeah, I mean, typically what I've done with Blog Orlando and the other events is trying to pull speakers from outside the area so that you can get a different perspective. You can also get perspectives of, okay, this is what's going on in California, or this is what's going on in different parts of the country. And it may not necessarily be what's going on in that local marketplace. I don't know. From the standpoint of if it's going to be a draw from somebody outside, I don't think it's going to be as much. Some of the different tourism-based organizations have been trying to get behind these events. So if you could do something that would maybe be less regionalized. So let's say you were doing some type of conference here that had a historical aspect. So we would look, who are people in the, whether it's teachers, whatever it may be, draw them to this area. Same thing like an environmental slant. There's a guy here who's from the EPA who's giving a lot of great points. What if he were to host an event here, invite a whole bunch of different environmental bloggers to an event like that, then basically he can bring them to such a location and promote whatever he's got going on. Obviously, there are a lot of discussion, a lot of coverage going on. So that's what some organizations are looking to do at, is how can they maybe go beyond the local aspect. But it's a tough call. And the other thing is that these events are typically free. And that's done for a couple of different degrees. One is get beyond the traditional corporate communications market. This conference is $500, this conference is $1,000. Specifically, Jeremy can speak to this, and you go to these conferences and you see the same people over and over and over and over again, and you have the same discussions over and over again. When you have a group of people that aren't having to pay, so they have it's user just in all the places, you can get a broad variety of things. Artsider.
If somebody wanted to have a conference in their town, where would they start?
The simplest thing to do is, talk to somebody like Jeff, talk to somebody like myself, talk to somebody else who's done it. I mean, everyone whose event has happened, they typically call me, say, how did you do it? What were your key learnings? What did you like? What you don't like? And I say, here's what I did. Here's what was successful. Here's what wasn't successful. And they take it from there. I mean, it's not like it's a franchise or anything like that. It's just like, go do it. Do whatever you want to do. And what's kind of cool is hopefully I can pass along these learnings, and Jeff can say, here's what's worked, here's what didn't work. So next time someone will see in a different marketplace, that they can benefit from things like that. And one of the biggest things we always find is food. Food is a cost that you have to absorb. Now they had a fee here for this event, which there's pros and cons to that. My event's always been free. But the thing is, if it's free to sign up, it's also free not to show up. So if I was paying for food and 400 people said they were coming, and I bought $400 for 400 people of food, only half the people were going to show up, and I'm going to eat all those costs. So what I was basically not offering food. But luckily where I'm at, for my conferences, there's a lot of local restaurants all within Washington, so we can break for lunch and come back. Here, there's a charge for it. One of the ideas I've played around with is charge $25. When you show up, you get your $25 back. That way you guarantee somebody thinks twice before registering, but if they don't show up, I've got compensation. But here's the issue. A lot of these venues I deal with, like they say, oh, if I want to have a conference at this venue, when it's a paid event and you're charging, you're doing food, it brings all this complexity. Oh, you have to use our caterer. Or since it's a paid event, where's your insurance? All these different things. When I go to an event and say, I have no food and it's a free event, it's like, oh, okay, great, here's use the facility for what maybe sometimes a reduced cost. So that's sometimes basically. We're always tweaking it. It's going to work next year, may not be the thing we're going to do in a couple of years. So.
What's your blog and what's it about?
The primary personal blog is haiku, hyku.com. My company is Voce Communications. It's Voce Nation, VOCE Nation.com. Personal blog is what I'm passionate about right now. It's photography, so it's a lot of pictures, it's a lot of discussions of camera stuff, and some social media stuff, information things. Of course, the company thing is more PR communication oriented.
Thank you.
No problem.